Welcome back everyone, this is Hungry Trash Panda. There are some big changes coming to Absolver here in the next few days. Currently there is no date of release for these updates. The post only said in the next few days, so just expect it to come out real soon. But for now, let's take a look at the changes coming up in patch 1.06. First off, let's check out the cult method changes. Using the cult absorb ability successfully will now add 20 protection over 5 seconds, and it says it can be stacked, along with ghost damage refill speed being twice as fast as it was, and decreasing the stamina bonus from 50 to 20. I like these changes to the cult method because I couldn't find a real benefit to using the cult method. I don't think anyone else could either. You had to not only time the block perfectly, but you had to also deal damage in order to get that health back. I will definitely need to try the cult method once the update hits. It sounds a lot more functional. Moving on to changes in the Windwalker stance. Decreased stamina bonus from 40 to 35 on successful dodges, and increases the stamina cost from 5 to 10 for attempting a dodge. On a successful dodge, the enemy player receives a debuff reducing stamina refill rate to 30% over 1.5 seconds. And the enemy player will also receive a stamina malus, which is the terminology it uses, which I think translates into losing 10 stamina points. Just flat out 10 points gone. These changes were made because Windwalker needed some more utility, since dodging attacks didn't always leave a big enough opening for a follow-up attack. I feel this would really give the Windwalker stance its own unique mechanics, so it doesn't feel like a more difficult to use Forsaken stance. And I really like the idea of a stamina eater build. Not many changes for the Forsaken stance. Stamina bonus from a successful parry decreased from 30 to 15. So it's a straight up nerf, but I don't think it's a big enough nerf to affect people who really like using Forsaken. I don't think it's gonna put a damper on anyone's party, except for people who really suck at using it like me, who only get parries every now and then and not consistently. The Stagger style's side dodges range will be reduced from 190 to 145. This change was made because the side attacks are spammable and didn't feel like they were defensive. I didn't like using the Stagger style very much, and I think many people used it mainly because it was the only PvE school you can join. And of course you're going to join it just to figure out what a school is and what all you can do with it, and try to learn a new stance. Changes to attacks in general. The range and impact of fast attacks on a player when guarding has been decreased, which means your guard is now more effective against spammers. This change sounds awesome to me because I love utilizing my guard against spammers, and this is just going to make it so much easier for me. The impact of guard breakers on a player's guard will also be more effective, probably to balance out the less effective hits on guard. There are some changes to 1v1. The amount of health you regain after killing an opponent will now take into account the amount of health each player has at the start of a round. If you defeat an opponent who had much more health than you at the beginning of the round, you will gain a large amount of health. You will gain less health if you defeat a player that had less health than you at the start of the round. So the larger comeback you make, the more health you get. And if you're slaughtering someone, you're going to get a much smaller heal. This seems like a very balanced tweak, giving people who are behind a better chance at coming back, and I like it. There are big changes to Shockwave. It will cost 2 shards instead of 1, have decreased range, and will come with a stamina bonus along with an increased stamina refill for 5 seconds. I love this change because it is way too spammable, costing only 1 shard, especially on arenas you can be knocked off. Now Shockwave has a much better utility to regain stamina when you're low. Nothing feels worse than being knocked off a map and feeling like you got cheated. Other general changes. The impact of weight or mobility will have a greater impact on stamina. The iframes of a normal dodge will be increased to 4, up from 2. If you don't know what iframes are, they're frames in which you are invulnerable. So now you have a better chance to avoid damage with your regular dash. You will keep your shards after death, allowing you to use more expensive abilities like weapons. So we may see more weapons come into play now, because it's going to be a good way just to dump some of your shards. This sounds like bad news to my tanky build, but after all these changes, we're probably going to see a much more diverse pool of builds, stances, and abilities. They did make a few changes on the PvE side. The maximum number of enemy AIs that spawn in a zone will be decreased, making the PvE sections less punishing. They also improved some enemy AI detection range and fixed navigation issues in Oration Quarter Zone. Not sure what exactly that entails, but hooray for a fix. They fixed an out-of-bounds issue in the Adalian Columbary Arena, and the Cross Arena will no longer have a big gaping hole in the middle. I'm not sure what the out-of-bounds issue is, but the Cross Arena won't have that big hole in the middle. And that's fantastic, because now it'll actually be a map that, in my opinion, will be more based on skill, and if you actually get someone all the way off to the edge, it's because you tactically made them go over, not because you happen to get pushed off by a shockwave or some other terrible way of dying. That's a lot of information to process, lots of tweaks and changes, most of which sound really good on paper, but we'll see when the game gets officially updated. Like, comment, subscribe, follow me on Facebook and Twitter. I'll see you all in the next one, and as always, stay awesome, hungry ones.